Cooking rice down into a hearty porridge is a classic technique found all over East and Southeast Asia. And congee is a great example of this. And Dan, you're a huge fan of congee.
I am. I really love it. So I'm a huge rice fan in general, and I think congee speaks to the versatility of rice. You can make it sticky and perfectly tender individual grains, or you can cook it down into a comforting porridge. So I'm going to start with our rice here, and I have 3/4 cup of jasmine.
Okay.
So even within the rice, there's a lot of variation. Traditionally, a lot of it was made with broken rice. So when you process rice, not every grain comes out perfectly like this. Some of it's broken, and that's already really broken down, so it cooks a lot quicker that way. But of course, people often use whole rice for this, and specifically to make congee. I just love jasmine for how aromatic it is. You can use long grain, and there's other rices that are used as well.
Okay.
So the first step is we're going to rinse our rice. So the rinsing is an important step. Rinsing rice in general is a really good thing to do. Here we have plenty of starch in the rice itself, so we're not short on starch at all.
Gotcha.
The exterior starch can cause some foaming while we're cooking it, and you can get boilovers, which I'm sure you've experienced with oatmeal and that kind of stuff. So this actually helps prevent that.
Interesting.
So that looks good. It's running clear. I like to shake it and then give it a few good drops like this. Just make sure we've gotten that water off. And we transfer it over to our big Dutch oven. I'm going to start by adding a cup of chicken broth.
Just a cup.
Just a cup. So a little bit of chicken broth adds some nice meatiness and depth. And next I'm going to add, there's a little bit of salt in the chicken broth, but I'm going to add 3/4 teaspoon. Next up, I have 9 cups of water.
That's a lot of water. Now I get why you used the big pot.
Yep, you need the big pot for it. I'm just going to bring this up to a boil over high heat. So the congee is up to a boil here. We're going to reduce the heat. We want a vigorous simmer here. We're actually going to cook this a fairly long time. Congee is often cooked for 90 minutes, sometimes even more. And it's really, again, a personal preference thing of how much you want the rice to break down. You can cook the rice until it blossoms like a flower is one descriptor for it. You can also cook it until almost no grains are visible. So we're going to go something a little bit more in the middle there. So we're going to do a vigorous simmer to speed things up. A gentle simmer, it could take a really long time. And boiling can be good too. You see that a lot, but you can get boilovers, right? And so what we want to do is eliminate those. So we're going to use the lid here, but we're going to put a wooden spoon in like that. So we're going to have a little bit of space for water to evaporate. We're going to do this for about 45 to 50 minutes until it's really silky and tender, and I'll show you what that looks like.
Okay.
At Cooks Illustrated, we're food nerds. That's why every recipe we develop involves research, cooking science, and rigorous testing by our team of expert test cooks before being tested by our dedicated community of 40,000 home cooks. Only the highest rated recipes earn a place in our award-winning magazine. Every issue features our latest recipes and discoveries, cooking tips, and equipment and ingredient reviews. Our step-by-step photos and hand-drawn illustrations show you exactly how to succeed. What you won't see, even a single page of advertising. We've worked for home cooks like you for over 30 years. So, are you ready to become the best cook you know? Subscribe to Cooks Illustrated magazine at cooksillustrated.com today.
To turn rice into congee, you have to cook it for a lot longer than you would if you were making, say, a pilaf or even risotto. To explain, let's take a closer look inside a grain of rice. Each grain of rice contains hundreds of thousands of starch granules, each one made up of long, tightly packed starch molecules. As the rice cooks, those granules start to absorb water and swell, and the water pushes the starch molecules apart. This is called gelation. During this process, some of the starch molecules leach out of the granules and onto the surface of the rice. This is what causes grains of rice to stick to each other. With continued cooking, some of the granules burst entirely, releasing their starch. Risotto is an example of rice cooked to this point. As more granules burst, the starch fills the cooking liquid. The long starch molecules tangle with each other, making the liquid viscous. And it's at this point that the rice has turned into congee.
Eggs are a really common topping for congee. I think probably the most traditional is the 1,000-year egg, which is really tasty and wonderful, kind of chopped up on top. But you see hard-boiled eggs, you even see raw eggs sometimes. We're gonna make some jammy eggs.
Jammy eggs?
Yeah, so they're like partway between a soft-cooked egg and a hard-boiled egg. And that yolk is like thick and creamy. It's really, really nice. So I have a 1/2 inch of water in this pot here, and it's boiling, and I'm gonna drop my eggs in. Not drop them, I'm gonna place them in really carefully.
It's not a lot of water.
It's not a lot of water.
So it's not even covering the eggs.
Nope, not at all. So we're gonna cover this up, and we're gonna cook them for 8 minutes here. Starting them in the hot water like this is key. It's gonna make them a lot easier to peel. All right, that's been 8 minutes. Take the lid off there. And we're gonna pop over to the sink here.
All right.
So I'm gonna drain the water off and run some cold water over them. That's gonna help stop the cooking, but it really just makes them easier to handle. I find if you're running them underwater, you can pretty easily peel them while they're out here. Yeah, this is just gonna come right off. We'll pop them in this bowl and we're gonna work on another topping.
Okay.
We're gonna make some fried shallots. We're gonna use a microwave technique, which I really like a lot. So I'm starting with 3 shallots that have been sliced thin. If you have a mandolin, this is a great time to use it. It doesn't have to be super, super thin, but they all need to be pretty equal so that they cook at the same rate.
That makes sense.
To that, I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Any neutral oil is fine here. So we're gonna go into the microwave for about 5 minutes. Okay, that has been 5 minutes, and you can see that the shallots have shrunk down below the level of the oil. That's good, that means we're deep frying. I'm giving it a quick stir just to even out the temperature, and I'll go back into the microwave now for another 2 minutes. I'm gonna repeat the stirring and microwaving every 2 minutes until they're starting to get golden brown. About 6 minutes. Ooh, these are starting to look really good. So it's been about 6 minutes. We want them to be a little bit more brown, but I'm gonna drop the intervals to 30 seconds because it goes super fast at this point. Beautiful.
Goodness, those smell good.
Don't they? Now the key is to get them out of here right away. They can go from beautiful to burnt pretty quickly.
Ah.
So what's interesting is they come out really soft even at that point, and they don't get crispy until they cool down.
Aha.
While they're still soft like this, that's when you want to hit them with some salt. All right. Those look beautiful.
Delicious.
So it's been about 50 minutes. Our rice is done. And you can see it's turned into this really luscious texture. So we burst a ton of starch granules, and all that liquid around it you can see is really thickened and beautiful. It's really nice. Yeah, this is just pure comfort food. So good.
Look at all these toppings.
Yes, we have lots of toppings to choose from. So we have some chili oil here, we have some soy sauce and some black vinegar, cilantro, scallion, ginger.
Ooh, I'm gonna copy you.
All right, so I'm gonna do 1/2 an egg. You can go even more if you want.
All
I'm
right.
gonna do a little scallion, a little bit of julienne ginger, which adds tons of freshness. And we also got some chopped roasted peanuts, which are really nice. And some fried shallots.
Oh yeah.
All right, and I'm just gonna go with a little bit of black vinegar on mine, just to brighten it up. All right, let's dig in.
All right. That's delicious.
That's so good.
You know, you said comfort food earlier. I get it now. I could easily tuck into a big bowl of this if I was feeling a little under the weather.
Totally.
Or on a rainy day.
Yep. And you haven't tried your jammy egg yet.
I haven't.
Gotta have a little bit of that. Adds so much richness.
All right, here we go. I really love this.
It's really good, right?
Yeah, thank you for showing me how to make it.
You're so welcome.
So if you want to make a big bowl of comforting congee, start with a high ratio of water to rice, cook for almost an hour at a vigorous simmer, and top it with whatever you like, which in our case means jammy eggs and fried shallots. From America's Test Kitchen, a soothing and savory recipe for congee. You can find this recipe and all the recipes from this season, along with select episodes and our product reviews at our website, americastestkitchen.com/TV. We hope you enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed making it.
Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel.
And if you're ready to take your cooking to the next level, head over to americastestkitchen.com and get a free all-access trial membership.
While you're there, you can sign up for our free email newsletters and download our app.
With unlimited access to over 14,000 of our test kitchen recipes and 8,000 product reviews, you'll have everything you need to cook and learn.
So I ask, what are you waiting for?
Let's make something great together.